dot write text shareable link. So we're going to add a then and check and attach it. So I'm going to say, so now let's work on the action to get the fetch form, the publish form by ID. So if we go over to publish here, we need to get we need to get the action. So I'm going to set this to async here. So let's go over and create the action, and we're going to call the action inside this page. So I'm going to go over to action, form action, and let me close everything here. And let's do export async. We're going to get function. Okay, we're going to say fetch publish form by ID. Form ID. We're going to pass in the form ID. So to use this in the to go over to make an endpoint here in the public page where the users can pass in their response, we need to only fetch publish form. So we can't fetch if it's not published. We're going to set a page telling the user that this page is not published, so it's not available. So that's it. So let's go over and let's say let's a string, and this will just give us a response type of promise. I'll have form, which is going to be form with settings. Oh no. Then we have a success boolean. Then we have message string. So I think so. We're going to let's call this. Let's say try or catch. So function is a bad type undefined word. Okay, returnable. Okay, we need to get all this. So let's first of all, we're not going to check if the users log in or access. So this is for public. So we're going to just say make sure that form ID is defined. If form ID is not defined, say form is required. Then let's get our form. So form is going to be equal to await Prisma form find first. So we're going to find first where form ID is form ID and where publish is true. Then we can include the settings if we want. Let's include the settings. Then we should check if not form. And let's return success false. Then we're going to also set message to we say form not found or form not available. And if this when it goes through, I will just return the form and form failed successfully. Then let's throw this error and pause and something went wrong. So you see the error has stopped. So let's go ahead and use this form. Let's use this action inside the public. So I'm going to just go over to page and then let's use it. So yeah, I'm going to just say since we are using form, we have this page is inside a form ID. We can get the props here, not the props, the params. So I'll just say params of type params, which inside params we have the form ID, and the form ID is a string. Yeah, so let's get this a constant params, and we get the form ID from params form. So inside here we say constant get the form from the wait server action. We pass in the form ID, and let's make sure to import fetch publish form by ID. Let's save that. Then we're going to check if not form, then we're going to return a separate component telling us that this form is not available, so not available. So we can create the component for not available inside the component here. .txx and race, and let's just import this. So inside here, we are going to, inside the not available, we are just going to define a very simple div, which is going to just have a class name of height, screen, flex column, item center, space, y4, and justify center. So inside here, we'll have a div. So we'll have a div, and this div, let's close this div, which will have high screen, flex column. I think this is, let's remove the style. So let me just remove this style. This div is not going to have this style. I think I made a mistake here. Let's just put this here. Instead, let's show, let's just have this as a flex one. Then inside here, we're going to specify the round 80 pixel, and the form is no longer available. And you can just put a button if you want and say learn more. Then below here we can have a div. So I'm just going to, let's just come down here and let's put a div. And this div will have shrink, minimum height, text center. Then we have a p tag, and the p tag will have a class name of text extra small. I will say component by, and we just put in our form, mommy.ai, font black, text 20, and text parameter. So let's go back to our page and let's complete this page here. So in order for us to track loading, we can create loading state inside here, loading.txx, and inside loading we can just do this. We can just get loading. I will specify width full, height flex, and height 56, items on the justify center, and loader from Lucy React with size 3 rem and terminate spin. So this will work. So we are done with that. So let's complete the page. So inside the page, we're going to create a separate component. So before we create a component, we want to retrieve the blocks. So I'm going to call this the block layouts, or let's just call it blocks here. This is going to equal to tracing ps form.json blocks. We set this as form block, our form block instance and lists. So we'll pass this inside this component here. Let's just pass it here. It's a form component which we're going to create. This will take in the form ID, which is the form ID. So we use that for the submit. Then we'll have the blocks, which is equals to blocks. So let's create this component inside the components folder, the underscore component folder. So the txx. So let's do RAFCE. And let's just go into page and import form submit from its component. So let's import this. And now let's go over to work on the form import component. So we're going to go ahead and let's set the type. So for the type, we just set prop form string and then form block instance, which is a list. So we've gotten the prop. So now we need to let's create a div. Let's start our div. So what we're going to do is just similar to what we have in the canvas. We're just going to copy this. So if we go over to the canvas, if you go over to canvas, underscore here. If you go over to builder canvas, you should see we are going to just get we're just going to copy. So it's not here. So let's scroll up. So where we specify scroll, we are going to have the height, overflow. I think this is it. Where we specify our scroll bar. So it's this one. So we're going to have something like this, but we're going to center the div. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have our div here, and let's put our style. So this we have scroll bar, our custom scroll bar, width full, height full, overflow y auto, 883, then transition or duration 300. So yeah, we're going to now define this is the whole scroll bar, the whole page. Then inside this div, we're going to have a div that will center the whole form. That is the whole layout or the layout itself. So each of the layouts is going to set maximum of 650 pixels. This will exactly be the same what we have in our preview too. Then we need to also have a div. So with full transparent background. Then we have item center, flex column, item center, justify stats, padding top, padding bottom 14. Then let's get our image, which we have in the canvas here. So I'm going to you can copy this image here, which we have here, and let's just take it here inside this div. Let's paste it here. So we just have 135 heights. This also has the 135 height, 100 and padding X. So just the same thing there. Then we need to be able to show our form here. So I'm going to just say width height width, height auto. So inside this div, you can say blocks dot map. So we're going to map these blocks. We're going to say block. We're going to let's get the constants. So yeah, we're going to get the form block components for the say form block components, and this is going to be equals to form blocks from our lib folder, and let's set the block type. So we have block dot block type. So block dot block type. Let me just set this to return. And here we're going to just put our dot form component. So let's just render this. So key is going to be equals to block dot id. Then we're going to pass in the block instance, which is going to be block. Then once we are done with the check, we'll add a button. So let's add a div with a class width. And let's add our button here. So this button will have a class name of BG primary. They will have disable is loading. So let's create a state for its loading and it's submitted. Let's create this state for that. So let's set this, let's move this to the top. Let's set it to use client. And let's import use states from React. So we have is loading and so we use to track if the form was submitted or if it's loading. So we've set disabled. Now we're going to let's come down here. Inside the button, we're going to say submit. And we're going to also set our loader here. So let's get loader from React. And we're going to have our onClick, which for now we're going to just leave it like this. So we're going to, so below here we need to add another div, which we're going to just add like a message with the logo. So this is going to be flex item center flex colon gap to margin top. Then we say never. Oh, sorry, let me put this to well. Never submit password through Form AI unless imports our logo. So I think and set this to primary color. So I think we are done. We are done with this. So let's test this and see. And we can see we have the We have the form AI. I think we need to add in the space. There's no space here. So inside the map form, so I think we need to add that. Let's add it inside the role layout. I think it was not space. Let me try and see publish preview mode and see the space that was there. So let me just wait for it to load. So let me click on preview. The preview has space in it. So let's look at what I did in preview. Preview dialog. Oh, I think we add a div with cap 4. So let's do that for the form submit. I think let's wrap this inside a div. Yeah, inside a div, and let's just pass in that flex column width gap 2. Then we need to also say blocks.length is greater than 0. And let's just move the div and everything inside it. Yeah. So that's it. So now we've been able to work on, let's see. So this is preview. Let me go over to my form, and we can see this is working great. So for the submit, I think we need to add like let's add some things here. Let's add like a border margin. Let's set it to 4. Yeah, see, sure it's working properly. So the next thing we're going to do is to see, we want a situation where once we click on this button, it does not submit. Instead, it throws the error because some of the fields are required like this. If I hover over this and I apply, you can see error. So we want to handle error like this. Once we click on submit, those that are required we show indicate that they need to be filled and the handle submit will not work. So we need to just do that. So how are we going to do that? Let's create let's set this to handle submit, and let's create this function here. So at the top here, I'm going to say constant handle submit is equals to async, which we're going to create the endpoint very soon. So now we want to create, a way we can be able to track the, want to be able to track all the fields and be able to get if they are required and set them to set the error once they click on the on submit button. So to do that, we're going to have to set some states here. So at the top here, let's hit at the bottom. We're going to set constant form error. Or let's move to the top here. We want to have constant form errors. I want to say set forms errors, which is going to be equals to use states. And this use states we have key type of key string and the value which is the string. So we're going to say let's write this. We'll say we have a square inside. I'll say key of string and this is going to be of string. Then inside here we have an empty object. So yeah, so before that we need to also create a useref to store this. So say useref, we get the form value. Let's get the form values, which is going to be equals to useref from React. And these two we have the same uh, type key and string, and this will just have string. And there we're going to just call this and put this to empty object. This is great. So the next thing we are going to do is to create we have to create two components or two function helper function. One to validate all fields. So we want to be able to validate all the child blocks from the layout. So say constant validate fields. It's going to be equals to let's arrow function. Then we'll say constant errors, which is of type key of type string and string. Then we're going to set this to objects here. And then we need to loop through the blocks to get all the child. So say for each which is of block, then inside here we say if not block the children, the child blocks, then we need to return let's return and return back by this. But we say if block the children, we are going to do a for each. Then for each we have the child block. So the child block we're going to open. Then we need to get those that has the attribute required to true. We say constants required tripod dot attributes dot required. So let's just put question mark because some might not have required. Then we say constant block value is equals to form value. So we set the value dot current dot we set the we're going to get the ID of the block dot ID as the key, and then we're going to just say dot trim. So say form current child block ID dot trim. Then we're going to now check. Let's come down here and let's check if the field is required. If the field is required and empty. So say if required. So this is specifying that this field is not required. So we're going to say block value is so we're going to just say and not block value. So we're getting the value, block value. Then we say or block value dot trim is equals to an empty string. Then we need to set errors and get a child block dot id. I want to set the error message this field is required. Not that, sorry, like this. Then we need to set the errors. Once we are done, once we set the errors, then we return object dot keys error dot length is equals to 0. So this will update the error state. Why this will um this will return true if there's no error. So we're going to use that we're going to use this validate field inside the answer. So if let's import this. So if not this, if this is false, then say must field or require field and something like that. We're done. So now we are done with this, with the validate field. Now we need to work on the handle block. And the handle block is the reason why we use this form value. So we're going to set the value inside the handle block. So let's come down here and say constant handle block, which is equals to key string. I will get the value, we pass in the value. So this handle block will pass to all of the form components for all the blocks we have. So we'll say value yeah dot current key is equals to value. Remember the key will be the ID. So we'll say if form value dot current key, if form error key and value dot trim is not equals to this, then we set the error we set the form error to previous error. So we're trying to clear the error if there's an error. Then we say constant updated error as the structure the previous errors, and let's delete updated error and the key. So this is going to be remove key from errors. Then we're going to just return updated errors. So the form values, once we use this in a view of our form components by setting when we saw the value, then we'll pass in the key and the value of the so the special type we know a value here. So we set the value current key, and that's what we are going to use. Once you try to hit submit, the validate field will come here and we check this if this has the value. So we'll pass in a key to get the value, and it's from the value here we're going to set, okay, we have error, and this error will be set to the form set form error. Yeah. So let's try this. So what we're going to do now is to pass this form error and handle block to our. So let's just take this form error, scroll down to where we have the component, and let me break this down, and inside here we're going to just have a form error, which is going to be equal to form error. Then the handle block is going to be passed to here too. So now we need to go and update the type for the form components inside the form block type. So inside here we need to set the type for so we can pass it to the form component. So for the form error type, we're going to just add it here. Let's just do it here. So form error type, and we're just going to get the form error, and let's set let's say form errors, which is going to be equals to this. So we set it to not, because the row layout won't use, we need by some component like the header, the heading and paragraph will not require audit. So that's why we set it to undefined too. Then for the handle block, we're going to just get type. So type is just going to be explore handle block, which will take the key value, and it's going to be a void. So we're going to also do that too for this. So inside let's set both of them. So the first thing we're going to do is to get this and pass it inside. This will be passing to our radio, not radio, row layout. So inside row layout, we are going to be able to get this and pass it inside the child blocks, which are the heading, paragraph, row select, radio select, and star rating, text field, and text area. So let's go into our radio row layout. I mean to say, so where is the row layout? Inside components, blocks, row layout, and let's go into our form. Yeah, this is our form layout. So inside the form layout, we are going to just get those type, handle block, and then form error, and we're just going to get them here. So let's import the types. Let's import this type. So now inside the child components, we're going to pass in some feed here, so we're passing the block instance. We're going to pass in the handle block, and handle block will be handle block. Then I want to also, instead of passing the form error, I'm going to say is error, which we're going to still go and update the type. We're going to say if not is true, say form error. Then I'm going to get the child, because I have the child block ID here. So I'm going to pass the child block ID to get if this is, so we're going to say if this is if it's error, if it's returned true, that means there's an error. If it's returned false, that means there's no error. Then for the error message, we're going to also get the error message by not specifying this thing here. So we're not going to specify to get the error message, because remember that form error has the key and the value, and the value is, if you go over to, let's come to our form submit components, and you see that we set it here. So instead of set form error, what we are doing here is we're going to say error type block, and this is the value. So this is the key and this is the value. So that is how we're going to do that. Okay, so let's just go back to our role layouts and let's go and add this to our type block type. So let's go over to block type, form block type, and let's add it to, let's add this is error. It's going to be an undefined boolean. I'm going to say error message. Error message is going to be undefined. I will set it to string. So inside here now, we need to get this error and error message inside the component. And the child from component is inside component here. And we're going to just pass it inside here. And let me just get this error. And so we need to pass the error message and its error. So I'm going to just bring this down here. And let's just pass this error message. And let's bring this error. To pass this error. Why is this? Okay, we've not passed the type. So let me say it's error. It's just going to be undefined. Okay, boolean. Then error message is going to be string. Yeah. So let's say this. Oh, we need to get the handle block, and handle block is going to be of type handle block function type, and this should stop. Yeah, this should stop. So let's go over to all of our components and let's move over to our radio button and let's do that first. So inside the form component, we're going to pass in. So I'm going to say handle block error. So I'm going to say error as submit errors to know that this is for submit error message. And we're going to just get the type for all of them. Handle block error and error message. Let's import handle block function type from type block. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this. So to get this is submit error. I'm going to go to where we have is error here. I'm going to put all this. Let me move this to text red. Yeah. So if the error, if we click on submit and the error true, so it's going to show the error for the label and also for the radio button where we have is error. We're going to just put is submit error. And here for the last stage, we're going to remove this null and let's say for this, let's set our p tag. We're going to say error message, and this will just have a normal p tag with the error message here. So that's it. So let's do that for the other parts. Oh, for the handlebar, we forgot to add the handlebar. For the handlebar block, it's very simple. We're going to just come to where we are setting the value. We're going to also set the value. So inside here, we're going to say if, because handlebar is undefined, is a function undefined. So say handlebar, and we're going to pass in the block ID, block dot ID, and pass in the value. So that's it. So I'm just going to copy everything like this. And let's go into the next component. Go for the star rating. And let me close this canvas component. So inside the form, I'm just going to like this. So we need to import this handle block. So let's handle block function. We need to import that. And let's save this. And here we're going to pass in the what is submit the submit error. Let's scroll down to where we have, yeah, we need to do that here too. A submit error. And here we need to also let me do it here too. So this one we're not doing value, so we're just using the rating. If it's equals 0, then this will show when this is true and this is true, or this is true. So let's save that. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the error message. We're just going to define the p tag, and the p tag will just show our error message here. So lastly, we're going to update handle star change. So here we're going to update this. If block is, so let's see, not here, sorry, here. So it's if handle block, we pass the block and we'll pass the new rating dot to string. Yeah. So that's it. Rating is valued and everything. So I think we are done with this one. Let me check. So we can just copy this again, go over to test area block, and let's add it to test area block here, form block. I'm using to paste it here, and let's import handle block function, and let's copy the its error submit. The submit error right here. Let's switch to here, and we're just going to set our if handle block. So first handle block dot id and value, input value. Sorry. So I think that should be input value for text area. Yeah, input value. So I think that is it. So here we're going to just put our is submit error, and we're going to also set the error message here. Yeah, for the place we have now. So error message, we still see text ref 500 text and the error message. So that's it. We're going to do the remaining one for the text feed. And I think this should be the last two. It should be the last one. So where we have the form, let's just update this to this, and let's copy the submit error. Let's set it here, and let's set it here too. And let's set it here too. And let me set the error message. Then we need to import the handle block. Then where we have the setter, say if handle block, we can set handle block. Handle block is going to be block dot id, and we're going to set the input value. Yeah, so I think that is it. I'm going to check to see if there's any other changes we need to do. So I think that is it. So I'm just going to confirm for everything is working for the radio select. So I think we've done everything. So let's go over to the let's go over to our public form submit components, and we are done with it. So we're going to go ahead and work on the action to submit the form. So in order to submit the form, let's check if this on the submit and validate field is going to work. So let me try and reload this. So let's wait for it to load. Let's try and click on submit, and everything is working perfectly. You can see it's showing error for the required field because all of them are required, and it's going to show required for all of them. And you see the error showing there. So let's work on the action to use inside our so we have our try and catch here. So let me go over to action. So we have form action. Let's close this and let's say export. So I need to close this. Export async function. It's going to be submit response form ID, which is a string, and we have the response, which is a string. So now since this we're not going to set a type, we're going to say you're not going to set if the user is authenticated because this is using the public route. So I'm going to say if not form, then form ID is required, and let's update this. Say await Prisma dot form dot updates where form ID is form ID and publish is true. Then we put comma data form response. We're going to create JSON response is response. And we're going for the response, we're going to convert that to string. Then once we make a response, we need to also update. We need to also set the response to true. So once we are done with this, we can put that as a response. Let me remove it from up here and let's bring it down here. Comma response increments 1. So once we are done with that, we can just send a success message saying that the form was submitted. And if it didn't go through, we're going to just say return false success false. So let's make use of the submit form inside our form submit. So the form submit. Yeah. So inside here, we're going to just say let's set loading. It's loading to true. Then we're going to say constant response. So we need to get the response JSON first. Let me say constant response JSON is equals to JSON dot stringify our form value dot current, which is the ID and the key. Then we'll say constant response is equals to await, and let's bring in our submit response action. Let's import that. So once we import that from form action, we're going to say form ID and the response JSON. So yeah, we're just going to just get a response string and JSON. So we're going to check if successful, we set submitted to true. If successful, we set submitted to true. Else we will show our error here. We create a toast here showing that description response message, and we're just going to create a toast here too again. And once that is done, we say finally we're going to set loading to false. So now we set the set submitted here. So we are not making use of is submitted here. So we need to make use of it. So to use that, we are going to so let's go over to a code so we can show when a form is submitted. So we're going to do that where we have this order. So what we're going to do is to say is submitted. Then we're going to call our card component from UI card, and let's just say let's open this. Let's remove this from let's remove this, and let's save it like this. So if submitted show card, else it's going to show the form or the blocks. So inside the card we are going to have a style for the card. So I'm going to just open the card, and let's just say width full, background white, border, shadow small, minimum height 120, rounded medium, and this. So we're going to also have the content. The content is going to we're going to have the content here, px and p2. So let's import content from UI components or components UI card. Then inside here, we're just going to show a message. So I'm just going to give a div of py for px3, and then we're going to just give a text telling the user that thank you with a text for Excel font normal MT2 MB8 text base got to notify you with feedback. Then we place in a link here. You just say a tag, just a random something like that. You say outline text, underline text, small text block, text b 7, learn more for more information, or learn for more information. Okay, so we are done with that. So let's test this out. I'm going to reload, and we should test our response is working. So I'm going to wait for it to load. So it does not. So let me try and fill this form. Say subscribe to channel. Subscribe at. So I've completed this. My full name. So I've put my full name, my email, my phone number, a message to for more inquiry, how do you use social media, and the rating to 4 rating. So I'm going to just post one. And you can see that the error is showing properly. So I'm going to click on submit, and it said MP field So there's an issue here. It's still showing some error here. So let's try and look at why it's failing to submit. So let me look at let's console the errors here. And let me inspect this. So I'm going to click on this and say this field required. So I think it's complaining for all of them. So that means something is missing inside here. So let me go over this again. Let me find for the issue. Because the problem is going to be coming from the error here. Okay, so yeah, type block actually required from correct type block dot id trim, then check and okay, required and not block or not block value or block value is equals to this. Then okay, so let's console the block value for all the child. I'll just get the child values here so we know child block dot attributes dot label or no dot block type. So let me try and submit it again. So I think we are not able to get the values for this. So it's saying undefined. So I think something is wrong here with the form value. So after I type, it didn't set this value. So let's console this too. Let me console dot log key and value. So I think the problem is from here. Block. So let's try it again. Let me try and type in. So I think it's coming from it. Something is wrong here. We can't see. It's not working here. So let me get over and let me try and fix this. So I found the issue. A very simple issue we pass. So we pass the handle block here, and inside the radio layout, we pass the handle block inside the child form. But inside the child form, we didn't pass the handle block inside the form component, and that was the issue. And this was set to undefined, so it's not going to throw an error. So let's set the handle block to handle block here, and let me save that. So inside the radio select, I notice I didn't pass the value here, so just pass the value to it. So let me remove this console. I was trying to check if it's working. So let's just make sure to pass the value to it. So I think that is all. Let's go ahead. Let's go back to our submit component and let's make sure that let's go this error. Let me leave this one, but let me remove this console for this error here. And let me try it out again. So I'm going to, okay, let me just inspect this. And let's see that this moves. So I'm going to just move my mouse over this and let's click on this. And you can see that it's showing that this work. The value is 3. The value is 5. And if you click submit, you should see that this does not show any error. Only this show error. So it deleted the key. You can see that. So we have the value for the star rating. If you consider, you see the block value, and the block type. There's a value for star rating, but there's no value for video, text field, paragraph, and so this one does not need. So it's not going to have any problem with this. It's just 1, 2, 3 that is required. So then let me clear all this console, and let me type everything again. So I'm filling the full name, subscribe to TechWithIma, then email subscribe techwithima@gmail.com, and we have the phone number, your message, and where do you hear about us with rating to 5-star or 4-star. So I'm going to 5-star, and let's click on submit, and it went through. Great. So we should submit. Thank you. Got it. We will notify you with a feedback. This is beautiful. So the problem now is this button is still showing here. So we need to hide this button from showing. I think I made mistake. We didn't add it. Yeah, we need to add it when we did that. If not, so inside here. So inside here. So I'm going to move this down. And let me just open this. And let me add this. So let me just show like this. Let me remove it now. And we're going to just add another one here. And let's move this button. I think that's right. With this button. So just click where we have this. If let's just add it. Let me add it in. First, let me copy this properly and bring it inside here. Save. I think we don't need this margin top. This we handle. So we have the div, we have gap 4. So it's going to handle the button. And now let's reload this. So I'm going to give it another response again. So I'll fill the form again. Let me try and submit it. Let's click on submit. And this should not show the button anymore. So this is great. So we've been able to make a submit a response, and let's head over to displaying the response in our dashboard. So inside our dashboard, we are going to work on this page, which is response. So inside response here, not layout response, I'm going to also so I forgot something to add in the public. We didn't add layout in the public. We should have add layout here. So I'm going to add layout .txx, and I'm just going to wrap the layout with the children, and this is just going to be a sort of dashboard. We are going to say public layout. So I just copy this from the dashboard. So this public layout will have the children React node, and the main class, and we're going to also pass the background color. So I think if we go back to this place and we load this, we should see that the background color has changed, so it matches with our current background color. So that is it. So let's just head over to work on the um let's work on the response page. So let's go back to the dashboard, and we have click on the response. So let me just go into response, and so where we have page. So inside the response, we are going to call we're going to fetch all the response which we've done there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create loading here because we're going to create an action for that. Loading at the XX, and the loading is going to be going to just copy what we already have inside the submit here. So commits, save that. So inside page, we're just going to do the same thing. Let's just call this response. And inside here, we're just going to set this to async. And let's just say params, which is params. And we're going to say form ID or string. And let's just get this constant form ID is equals to params. So now we need to get the form await. So let's go over to create the form. So this form, this for the not the form, I mean the action. So I'm going to call this fetch all response by form ID, and I'm going to pass the form ID. So I'll copy this and let's head over to action, and let's just close this. Export async function. And here we're going to just get the form ID. So string. So then let's get inside this. We're going to get root trial catch. Let's get trial catch from here. And we're going to check if the user is logged in or authorized, because this is inside the dashboard, while this two is for public. So I'm going to just say let's get the response. So form is going to be equal to await Prisma dot form dot find unique where form ID Then we're going to include form response. So form response is going to be order by rated at, and this is going to be descending order. So once we're done with that, we need to return the form and also return error if error occur. Say something went wrong with success. So let's go over to the response page. So going to the page for the response, and let's import this. So this was to show. So I think let me just call this fetch response by ID to import this, and let's move this to the top. And inside here, we need to also we need to check if the form is not being returned. We just show the error occurred and something refresh something bit like this. Then we need to get the blocks. So we need to retrieve the blocks, a block JSON block, and let's get the form blocks for the forms, and we're going to also get a response too. So for the response, we're going to say form responses is going to be a list of this form response is going to be a list of JSON response string. So inside here, we're going to get our main and a div here. So let's just set this to main. And let's just say div. And inside this div, we're going to have a class of width full, maximum, which is 6XL, margin X, auto, and padding. Then we are going to also have so before this, let's just wrap this entire div with a class name of width full, and let's go padding 8, and let's paste it back. So inside here, we're going to have a div that will wrap in the title of the page. So the title of the page is going to be let me put it h1. The title of the page is going to be the response length. I will say responses. So this one has width, flex, item center, justify between, and then py5. Then we are going to also set a link to the page where the user can click to visit the response. Say class text Excel font semi-bold tracking types, and let's just set targets. Not here. This TailwindCSS fonts both tracking types, and I think that is it. Then here we're just going to click on say href is going to point to where we're going to submit the form, and let's click on button. So this is basically the link where you can collect response. So let's get this from Lucy React. So this button is width for maximum 44 background of primary, and this is just a link public submit form where user can click to visit where to collect the response form directly from the response page. So inside here, we're going to have a div, a class name of margin top 10, and we're going to have a separator of border. So let me import this separator from from Shanty UI. So below here, we're going to show all response. So all response is going to have the blocks and the response stuff. So which we're going to create now. So let's say all response. So all response, we're going to create that inside the component. So I'm going to go inside here, and let's just create a form. Let's call this components underscore components, and let's just define all responses on this RAFCE. Import that going to page, and let's import this. So inside response, we need to get the props. So for the props, I'm going to set the prop type here. So the prop type is going to be blocks, and the response type is going to be form ID, which is the ID of the form, the ID, and also the JSON response. If you go over to your page and you hover over response here, you should see that we have form ID, the ID of the response, the form ID. This one is the integer version of the form, weighted at and JSON response. So that's what I just copied and pasted here. So for this, we just say SC, just pass the prop type, and let's import FC from React. Move this up. So now inside here, we are going to just get the blocks and response. So what we are going to do now is to display the response to match with the blocks. So if we console, let's console log blocks, and let's console log response here, and let me inspect this. So let's add padding to this. This is so let's add padding x to 4, or medium padding x 0. No, it's not working. Okay, yeah, it's working. So it will give you some space. So let's inspect this, and let's even make this length to let's make this length. Let's add a bracket like this to response. So let's inspect this. So this is not going to show in the client, it's going to show in the server side. So let me scroll down to where we. So I'm going to drag this. Let me drag this. Let me go to where we have the block. If you see the JSON response is in form of string, we can see the responses ID, the ID. Then we have the subscribe, the email of the second form with form ID 2. Then we have the blocks here. We can see. So what we're going to do is to match the ID of the child block to this ID of this ID and the value, the key. So to match it and get the value and display it on the page. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go over to this, and to do that we are going to say child blocks map, child block map is going to be equals to blocks. We are going to flat map this block. I'm going to say block plus child blocks or empty array. So that is it. Then we're going to implement dot reduce and set this. Let's say child block, the individual child block, and let's open it. So if child block, we need to check if child block, because child block might be undefined. We are going to add type to guide. So we're going to say um, we're going to say this, the key of child block is going to be equals to child block dot, and we want to get the attributes, we want to get the label dot label, or we're going to just say no label. So we're going to get the label from the attribute. Then we are going to return. So let me return if this is this. So let's return and let me close this here. Okay, thank you. Okay. So and then we need to just set uh let's set this to, let's add command, let's set, I'll just say as record string. So the error has stopped. So I want to get the label of this, so we can display the label of which field the label of the field which we filled, and then use it to get the value. So now to display this, now we need to or a div. So this is going to be a grid layout, and a grid layout is grid column 1, large screen column 3, and then gap 4, and let's close this div. So yeah, inside here we're going to look through our response. So say responses dot map, get the response, and let's pierce this. Let's call card. Let me think I made a mistake here. Open this here. Okay, we need to set, yeah. So like this. So inside here, we're going to say constant yes responses is going to be equals to JSON dot PS response dot JSON response. I'm going to just say this is going to be as ID string and response value string. Yeah. So let's create the card. So for the card, we're going to have the response ID attached to the class name of background white, iterate with full, and inside the card we're going to have our context, our content, which is going to be, let's import content from card content from UI card, component UI card. This is going to be padding button 0, padding x1, and inside here we're going to have a div, and this div is going to, let me close this div. This is going to be space y2. Then we're going to also have a div that will hold the question and answer type. So this div class name is going to be pp2 flex item center. So item center gap to border b. Then we have border 3 200. Then let's give it a heading. So the card should have in heading here. I'm going to say the heading should be font bold, H4 font bold, and this should just be question and answer component, or question and answer pad. So, and this is just going to show the time of which the response was created. So we just import clock from Lucy React. So text extra small, text muted foreground, flex item center. Then we have clock, width 3, height 3, and there we say response created as, I will set it to string. So that is it. Then we need to find a way to pierce this object, this pierce response now, because this is going to come in form of an object. We need to pierce it and loop through it, because this is not just only an object, it's supposed to be a list, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to pierce this so that we can map through it and use the key and value to display on the pad. So we are going to do that here. So inside this div, let me see. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do objects dot entry React response dot map, and this map we're going to get the key inside key value, and we're going to just return. Let's return. This is going to be a column of, let me close the div. You see the key is going to be key, and why is it not working? Okay. Oh, sorry. This should be small letter key. Yeah, the key is going to be key with less column. Then inside a div, we are going to have a div, and this div is going to have a class name. So I'm going to say div. Then we're going to have class name here, and the class name is going to be font medium text base MB 2 pixel, and let's bring this down and let's have our text gray 800. Then inside here we're going to use the child block map, which we map this to get the set the ID. So we're going to use this. If I hover over it, you should see record string. So remember we're returning this, and if you hover over this is going to go record string. So I'm just going to get the ID. So, and the ID is going to be the style to the label. So that's I'm going to use to fetch it out. I'm going to say uh, child block map. I'm going to pass in the key, so it gives me the response. It gives me the label of the child block. Then below here we're going to get the value. So we just return the value here, and this will just have text small and padding left one text gray 600, and that is it. So let's check this and think. Let's reload this and see. Yeah, so this works fine. So we can see that everything is working fine. We can see question and answer. I think this should be wasteful. Okay, we didn't have gap 2. So to give the spacings to the time and the date and time. Yeah, so spacing. So we have your full name, the answer, email address, the answer, phone number, the answer, your message, the answer. How do you hear about your social media, the answer? How would you rate our service? Uh, 4. And how you think the question is changing. This is saying from top. How you rate 5? Your full name, email address, phone number, your message, and how do you hear about us? I think this is properly, but everything is working fine now. You can modify it to fit the way you want it. So we are done with the project. We are completely done with the whole project. Everything is working fine. So guys, so um, make sure to subscribe, share this video so it reach more people, and give this a thumbs up so you can learn more and give your comments in the comment section. So take care.